guys are watching Real Sensi, and we're here today with Nick Sefakis. How are you guys doing?
Big up, Real Sensi. Thanks for taking the time.
Hell yeah. Thank you for
Yeah.
having us over. We
Yeah,
appreciate you. So we're going to start it off. How did you get your start in music?
Ooh. When I was 8 years old, it was the first time I got a guitar and started playing it. My mom kind of put it in my hands, and she gave me an option to play guitar or piano, and I chose guitar.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and it was always there. Growing up, I took lessons.
Always
and
your roots.
But then I would in my high school years and stuff, I stopped playing it. I stopped focusing on music as much. I was doing sports and stuff like that. But I would always come home and I noticed my release was kind of music,
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
So I was like, yeah.
That was always under, but you knew that was like your focus.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I figured I would just I started a band and just kind of like what you guys are doing, just step by step, just moving forward, and
that's awesome.
Cool things happen.
You guys are really killing it, honestly. Like I see you guys grinding on a daily, and your album is just amazing. We have been bumping that since day one, so gotta check that out.
Yeah, thanks.
When did you first realize you wanted to pursue reggae music?
It was shortly after my sports career was coming to an end. I got into reggae music. I was listening to a lot of hip hop and stuff. And I was, everyone was listening to hip hop though, so I was listening to reggae finally, and I tuned in and I heard the Peter Tosh song "Legalize It," and that made me want to spark up and try that out. It made weed seem mystical, more or less. Growing up, I grew up in Utah, so lots of it's red state, lots of Mormons, and weed is very frowned upon.
Exactly.
It's a drug, and once I found out that weed is an herb and it grows from the ground,
remedy.
And so Legalize is a very popular song, but it made me want to look into smoking herbs. So I would light up in my dorm room, start getting in trouble by the coaches and stuff.
Getting just the motivation.
Yeah, so
awesome.
I started a band, and the message in the music really stuck to me, and the bass, just everything about it. I love it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love how all of it just comes together. Reggae is awesome. You can't fit it into a category, it's awesome. Every band has their own unique sound, so it's amazing.
Message music type of thing. Every band has a message, and especially the bands that are really doing big, they have a message and they use it as a stage to do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So what was your creative process behind your new album, Foundation?
Yeah, man, that was the product of my off time a lot, because we've been busy, like I said, with Ayatera and stuff. So whenever I'm home, I was just making music, and yeah, man, there was a couple songs on there. There was a song on there, Young Dread, that there was about to be. I showed it to the boys in Ayatera, and I showed Young Dread and Holda Vibes at the same time, and we ended up using Holda Vibes and
for the Coming to Light album.
For Coming to Light album, yeah. And I'm thankful for that. That was the first song I've sang a full vocal feature on, as far as Ayatera goes, So Holda Vibes went on the album, and then thanks, man. And then yeah, I was stoked that I had a song that all the dudes liked, so I started working on more music. I put 10 songs together, and it was over the course of a couple of years that it happened. Awesome. But yeah, man.
Just whenever it happened, just whenever you find that inspiration, that's when it comes the best time.
And I started making music writing instead of it a hobby. I started waking up and doing I thought people have 9 to 5s, right? So if I wake up, have a cup of coffee, and dedicate time, sit down in my studio and work on stuff, get things done, set goals for myself. I started becoming more goal-oriented, and I was that's when the album came about, really. Exactly. I was that's a goal I want to commit to and do. So I was I need to put 10 songs together and always have them in a Dropbox folder, even when they're not done, just so I can see them. I love to see the names of the songs, and you feel like you have something tangible, Yeah, man. And then you work towards that shit, and that's how that came about, man.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Lots more music being made still, That's what I do.
Yeah. Are there any main themes or goals that you have in your music, throughout your whole album?
I want people to never lose sight of the unseen,
Yeah.
We really rely on the 5 senses that we have, but there's so much going on, vibration frequency wise, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but it is a real thing, and it's good to look into and be knowledgeable about, and
definitely.
Like just having trust, you know, in the way things are, having self-confidence, self-love to share it with other people, you know, to share love and make this world a better place, you have to find it in yourself, I believe. So I'm just trying to make music. Yeah. So I'm just trying to make music that resonates with myself and others, you know, that's all.
Awesome. Yeah.
Just hopefully
Creating a
inspire
great message
something.
for people.
Yeah.
Daily.
Yeah.
Keep it up, honestly.
Thanks,
keep
guys.
rising to the top. Like, if you guys have a passion, you know, just follow it and always just find your true self, true love
100%.
for yourself first before anyone else,
For
you know?
sure. That's what's been cool about
Yeah.
this time, you know, if we're trying to find the bright side of this crazy time, not playing shows or anything, there's been a lot of time to, all my homies are being creative right now, like in the band.
I love this whole quarantine as well.
Yeah,
Like,
man, it's crazy to see
creation.
everyone working, and it's great. It all, like my homies, Luis and Nick Laporcio, they have Aspect Apparel. They got some cool clothes coming out
check
of
'em
that.
out.
Yeah, man. And then Nathan has Crucial Crystals. Razafara, the homie Juan. We got DG, Collected Culture, you know.
Keep it. That's how you do it. Keep
yeah,
it.
everyone's getting creative right now. My boy Tanner just bought a whole drum mic set, and so he's been tracking
That's
drums for us
awesome.
from his house, you know,
amazing.
we're trying to write music together. And yeah.
It's crazy. We
Yeah.
always just stick to the roots, you know, the music's what's keeping us like going. So
Yeah,
it's
true.
awesome.
True. We got that Cali Roots thing coming up tomorrow. We're going live at 4:20.
Hell yeah.
I guess
Gotta
if
check
you're
'em
watching
out.
it, it's today. Yeah. So check it. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Big ups.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah.
Adding on to that, how have all these like influences helped shape you into the musician you are today?
Having the chance to tour with so many dope bands, you know,
Yes.
like you guys interviewed Louis Castle last week, and we were with him in Tribal Seeds and Steel Pulse on that tour. It was
That's
Tribal Seeds and
amazing.
Steel Pulse, and
Still pulls.
that was one of the tours I was like, yeah, this is cool, man. Because Tribal Seeds was one of those first bands, first off, that I got into when I started listening to reggae. And then Steel Pulse, of course, is just like legendary.
Those are legends, honestly.
So like learning, just being able to take direct inspiration from people like that, from Stick Figure, from the Expanders, you know. I think it was crucial when the Expanders took us under their wing in a sense. We went on a tour with them, and we were trying to earn their respect, you know, because they had that roots sound down in the scene in LA for years now, and we had a lot of respect for them, man. And they're real ass cats, and at some point they were finally like, yeah, you guys are dope, little youth, you know, like, so I definitely it's all the opportunities. It's been great opportunities to learn from really cool minds, you know. So I try to take all those opportunities, and yeah, just people like that, you know.
It's always just a gift, you know, like something you could take from everyone and just all the experiences. It's just awesome. Like, I love the reggae scene and just the connections.
Me too.
To that.
Yeah, when I made a song with Elliot on my last album, Lion Order, from John Brown's Body, that was another really cool connection in the scene, just like a really humble dude. I take a lot of inspiration from him. I've been listening to him for a long time, and to finally link up with him, and just like, he's a normal, down-to-earth person.
That's
and like
awesome.
has a lot of
Just like
wisdom.
yourself.
So thanks. Give thanks. Yeah, that's crucial, you know.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
It makes the whole world, you know, go around. If we're nice to one another, you get love back.
It's true. Get what you give.
Exactly. What was it like working with Sensi Trails on your new single, Purpose?
Yeah. Sensi Trails' new single, Purpose. It was cool. I was stoked they hit me up. When I first heard the tune, I knew it was an Ian Young rhythm, you know.
Yep.
And I was like, this is dope. And Kyle has a cool voice, and it's a good tune. I was stoked on it, you know. And I'm stoked that they're just grinding. To see a band that's working hard is what makes me want to like do a feature with them like that.
They've definitely been pushing really hard throughout this whole quarantine. I've definitely been seeing
For
them
sure.
going off.
Yeah, they're everywhere too. Like, they got the merch, they got the music videos. They're trying to push as hard as they can. And that's always good to see in a band, you know.
That's awesome.
So big up Sensi Trails, big up yourself.
Yeah. Are there any artists that you want to collaborate with that you haven't been able to yet?
A whole list. That's like that's when I say visualizing goals, right? But shoo, yeah. There's some cool collabs I got going on for my next album, and that as Iatera has going on, but I don't think I can make them public yet.
No worries.
But I mean, like, my ultimate my ultimate one I think would be Chronix. If I had to pick one today, like a modern day reggae artist, I'd probably try and hit up Chronix.
That'd be super dope. Chronix.
Chronix, if you're watching,
brother. Is there any advice that you'd want to give to aspiring musicians that are trying to do what you're doing?
Yeah, I would just tell everyone to follow their sound. Don't try and emulate things too much, you know.
Yeah.
And also don't be too judgmental on what's coming out. Just you're gonna have to make a lot of songs that sound like shit at first, you know.
Yeah, but it builds into something great eventually.
So the more you do it, the more it sounds better and better. Just like anything, it just takes time and passion. And you can be as talented as you want, but if you are an asshole, no one's gonna work with you, you know. So you have to also be a good person to tour with anyone. That's half the battle. Being in a touring band, being in the studio with someone, being anywhere, you know. If you have the best guitarist and he's not fun to be around, you're not gonna have him in the band. You're gonna take the brethren who might not be as talented, but he's a great person, you know. So always keep that in your mind, no matter how big you get.
Stay humble.
Yeah, for surely.
Exactly.
Yes,
stay righteous and stay lifted.
Lifted.
How has reggae music changed your life?
Man, it took it in a complete left turn. I was playing, like I said, my whole life I was brought up as a jock, you know, or an athlete. Yeah. So it's cool to just find music. Like there was music in my family all along, and I really feel like I took it from different parts of the family and gathered it into my own inspiration.
And that's how you are.
So yeah, reggae music has changed my life. It has made me become a more just aware person. I feel like it has made me grow up a little bit and realize that things. I was blessed for sure in my life growing up. You know, I'm not from I'll just be honest, I'm not from the slums or the ghetto or anything like that. Yeah. So listening to reggae music gave me this more wide visualization of what's actually going on in the world. Exactly. And it's yeah, man. And some people say, well, why you don't sing about you sing about this stuff, but you're not from there, you know. But I feel like it's important for the people that aren't from there to. Everyone needs to everyone needs to push that message and know what's going on, because that's how things are gonna change. If only certain people know about it, it's never gonna change. You know what I mean? So no matter what skin color, wherever you come from, you stand up for what you believe in. And yeah, man, reggae is a great genre to do that. So that's how to see that as a genre come into my life and show me that platform to give me a voice. Grateful. You know, I'm super grateful. Yeah.
That's amazing, honestly. I love reggae, and just you could always just be yourself, you know, and speak your mind, you know, and no one's gonna judge. We're always just gonna love and just lift each other up, you know, and that's awesome.
You had people really Bob and Peter Tosh though that were the Malcolm X and Martin Luther of reggae, though. It's they were they've both been shot, you know. Exactly. And one lived through it, and you know, there are people out there that when you start to do good things, there's also that opposing force too. So it's you have to stay strong, and you can't be filled with.
Stick to your roots.
You can't get filled with anger for those people either, you know, which is an interesting way to approach something, right? Moving through life and knowing something bad is or someone bad is trying to stop you from doing what you're doing, and just moving forward with love is that's a whole thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Can we expect any new music in the next coming months?
Yeah, absolutely. Both from Ayatera and myself.
Yes.
Yeah, so we just released the Monterey Sunshine Rhythm. Yeah, big up to Collie Buds on that one, and Johnny Cosmic and Ineffable Records. Yeah, but we are working on. We have a studio session booked with Ian Young in June sometime. So Ayatera, we're gonna go down there as a group and track live as a band and really try and capture our sound. And I'm really excited for that. And then I've got another folder of songs I'm putting together for my own personal albums. I've been working more with Elliot Martin from John Brown's Body. We're trying to do a collaboration EP together, 5 songs maybe.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's cool to be working with him. Yeah, lots of stuff coming out. Myself, Iatera, and others. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Braden Waiters too, my homie. I've been producing his stuff.
That's awesome.
He just released a single in the blues genre, and he's working on an album too.
Yeah, definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what do you think has been your most memorable experience on stage?
Such good memories for sure. I love that question. Red Rocks was just like undescribable, you know, with that stick figure show.
Sure.
Yeah, you never been to Red Rocks?
Yeah,
I've just been that one time, man, and it just blew my mind. There was like 10,000 people almost sold out, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Big up stick figure, thank you. That was awesome. California Roots playing the bowl was such a big dream for us for a long time. We've just been fans of California Roots for like years. So.
Oh yeah.
So many times. Reggae Rise Up Florida. Those big crowds are just nuts. And there's also great. Cali Roots. We played the after party one year at Planet. I think it was Planet Gemini or something like that across the street, and that shit was one of the most lit shows we've ever played. It was so crammed. Everyone was packed in there, and it was hot and sweaty. And Marley D. Williams from Revolution stage dove, and that was before we had linked with them, so we were all stoked. Like, oh my god! Like, it was just lit, and it was crazy. I didn't ever think like an after party would be that lit. It was like 3 a.m. or 2 or 3 a.m.
Just going off.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's awesome.
Looking forward to next year.
Yeah, definitely. All
Yeah.
right, to switch it up a little bit, what has been the hardest thing you think you've had to accomplish throughout the whole music industry?
Learning how to access all my online streaming royalties as an artist, like an independent artist, as like speaking up for myself.
Yes.
I've got to watch a lot of that whole business. I guess the whole business aspect of music is what's been the hardest part. I've actually really had to like hone in on that and try and learn a lot about it. And luckily, we have a really good management team and Ineffable Music. So to watch how they work with Iatera and kind of like take notes from that is really cool. It's a blessing.
That's super sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta work yourself up and just keep grinding until you got it perfect. Down, you know,
There's
That's
like
just how it is.
there's lots of like online classes and stuff, like little business courses of how to do that as an artist now that are coming out, which is
something like that.
yeah, like how to collect your money. That like if you release a song, it's online being streamed, and you haven't like done anything else other than that, then like you're not making your money from it. There's money like waiting for you to collect, you know. And you can literally, you don't have to be like a revolution or iration to make a business out of music and just like live, not to be anything crazy, but just to live, you know. You just have to I feel like you just need to be informed on the basics of what you're doing.
Exactly.
And lots of people don't get that, and like I feel like it should be more accessible to everyone, but you do what you do and you learn. Yeah.
Live and you learn. Exactly.
How do you balance your daily life and your music life?
That's a good question. I like I said earlier a little bit, I like to wake up in the morning and like try and have a set, you know, like if I have some inspiration on my mind, I notice when I have after I've had like a half a cup of coffee, it's a good time to like maybe write some lyrics. Yeah, maybe write some lyrics, maybe go sit down and work on some music, you know, and lunchtime comes around, eat, and then, you know, I think it's all about balance, like, and then maybe later that night spend time with your girl or your loved ones and just hang out, and I don't like to be sitting at a desk like all day long, you know, and I feel like you gotta do something, it's just about balance, you know. If I've worked 3 days in a row, I might take the next day or two, just kick it, but I feel like
what's right for you.
Yeah,
you know?
I always find myself doing something though. Even on my days off, I'll like find myself doing stuff on my phone, like trying to
Always gotta just do it for
something.
yourself.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Yeah, man.
Find that perfect medium, perfect schedule for yourself. You know.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you would like to shout out that has helped you throughout your whole music process?
Yeah, I think I shouted out a lot of the homies so far and their projects, you know.
Yes.
I guess, Iatera, all the Bridgens, individual projects in that. Cali Roots Rhythm, who else? Oh, I a lot of the artists, or a couple of the boys that played on my last album, Foundation, was Ryan Cordich and David Young from Eureka Sound. The brethren, they come up here quite often and just hang out, and we'll make music, and like lots of times those songs end up on the album, you know. So gotta give them proper credits where that's due. Big up. They're so talented as musicians, dude.
Eureka sounds crazy.
Yes.
I went to their release party and that was wild.
Oh, dope. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Damn, I gotta check that out.
A bunch of cool kids.
Yeah, they're
And since we're real Sensi, you know, we gotta ask, what's your favorite strain?
Fruit. Something fruity. I would say like purple punch. Yeah. I was gonna say fruit punch, but purple punch. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Give thanks for the time, you guys.
Yeah.
Like they said, new album, Foundation, available everywhere. Sefakismusic.com. I got merch, CDs. Go check it out.
There you go.
Bless up. Big up, real Sensi.